Talking about you got this and you got that, and you gonna murder this one and murder that one. Talking all that bullshit. I'm gonna put it to you like this, yo.
This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me. I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What is poppin', everybody? And welcome back to another special episode of the Only Friends podcast. Well, you know, it's me and my only friends, which includes, but is not limited to, Guapito. What's poppin' with you?
You know, normally I'm not super excited about the weekends and like all the picks and all the football stuff that you guys are talking about, but now that I have a little skin in the game,
very.
is good.
So you like
I was
to lose?
anti-sweating games and like,
Very little skinned.
yeah.
Goes a long
bit.
way.
I probably would have bet my life that he was going to throw it to Guapo.
Yeah.
Because the only other two options are these two yinzers who are going to be very
Fuck
obnoxious
no
about what happened on Sunday.
Fucking way. Was I ever throwing it to either one of you
No, I
guys?
said I would have bet my life.
I just fucking, like, that was a lock. I thought about it for a second. I looked around the room. All I see is fucking black and yellow. I'm like, hell no. Guapo, you lost this weekend.
I did lose this weekend. And after watching the fight, you know, they got the line right. Plus 150 seemed
About right.
seemed right. Gilbert, he didn't get manhandled, but
He definitely
lost.
didn't
Yeah,
win.
He definitely lost.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling pretty good about this weekend. I've been talking about this pick for almost a month now. So
It's true. You put in this pick like a month ago.
yeah.
This is going to be fun. Guapo might be like close to all in week 2 of the Weekend Warrior. And I got to tell you, I'm here for it. I have to reconfigure a little bit of the way that I view this because I didn't realize I was so sharp. So now that I got that, you know, reinforced, I might just have to be like really firing 8-10 units a week, you know, something like that. This is not gambling advice, not financial advice either. We have a great show for you guys today. A lot to discuss from this past weekend, including the EBT Barcelona wrap up, a little bit of our gambling foray in the NFL. We got the Circus Survivor that we fired off 10 shells into. Of course, we have Weekend Warrior. We're not going to recap the picks and stuff. We're going to save that for tomorrow.
Yeah, we still have one left to come in.
Brian is still pending. But
it's not pending. It's a lock.
we can't ignore.
Tired of this bullshit.
We can't ignore the weekend that was the NFL. But before we get to that, a couple things that I want to plug. We have a meetup game coming up this Friday.
Ooh.
It's the finale to the Venetian grand opening. You know, this says Above the Felt meetup game, and it's got some faces on there that aren't me. They'll be there also in attendance, but I was told this was being rebranded as the Only Friends meetup. So by my understanding, it's Berkey and Friends, which I should be bigger on the marquee as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's because Farah and Osmus are so much more attractive than me that they take up as much space.
Definitely
But
has to do
we're going to have to work on that graphic. Tom, if you're out there listening, you know, maybe get that right. Let's get a drunk Conrad perhaps on the marquee.
Let's never get a drunk Conrad anywhere.
Well, we'll see you on Friday, kids. I'm sure Conrad will be in attendance. 1 p.m. at the Venetian. We're going to be running all sorts of cash game stakes. It'll be going well into the evening. Come hang out, enjoy $3 an hour comps. Check out the new room. Come hang out and play with myself, Jeremy, Landon, Osmus, the Tortoise, the Conrad, the Guapo. All of us will be in attendance.
We'll get it popping.
You'll get it popping.
I mean, we always have fun at these things, you know?
You always have fun at these things.
Well, whatever. If you weren't such a goddamn grouch, you'd have fun too.
I have a blast.
fun.
I know.
I have my limits. I start to come down at about 8 p.m. when the caffeine wears off.
And that's right when I start.
Yeah. Maybe we can turn this into a meetup game / pickleball tournament. I'm sure that there's some event space there that, you know, we could set up a temporary net on.
Oh, yeah.
Get a little sweat in.
We can do it right in the hallway.
You know, you haven't talked about pickleball in a while. Are you?
I've been
on the sidelines.
I've been dabbling.
Because it fucking stinks.
No, I'm much improved. I've been playing lights out the last few days, but I'm dealing with a very painful nagging injury.
You
I
have a
don't know what
UTI?
it is. I wish. That would be
You wish.
I would trade what's happening right now for a UTI in a fucking flash.
What's going on?
Before we get off in too much of a tangent, do you want to finish your plugs?
No, I'll do the academy after.
I'm sorry, the manager had to step in there.
I don't know. I've been having elbow pain like on the joint, but it's clearly not.
So not tennis elbow, pickleball elbow.
No, because I hadn't played pickleball in quite some time. It started happening like maybe a month and a half ago, and I noticed it when I was lifting. It's affecting my grip strength. So like, I'm struggling to hold the weight, but not to move the weight, if that makes sense. So pushing exercises, no problem, because you can kind of like get a false grip and just have the bar rest. Pulling exercises, big problem. Pull-ups, anything back related, really struggling with it. It's like very sharp joint pain, which I guess could potentially just be arthritis. But what it's manifested into is my forearm is just knots. It's just knotted. Like from my elbow to my wrist is just one giant knot. Like if you feel it, you can feel like that like grainy, like muscle on tendon type of, you know what I mean? When
Maybe because it's overcompensating for your elbow.
Yeah, certainly. We thought it was a tricep issue at first. My tricep was like in balls of knots as well. So I worked those out, and then it turned into a forearm problem. I've probably just been jerking off too much, to be honest.
Wow, come on. You literally took my joke away from me.
He had to.
I was going to cut him off with them earlier, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let him keep cooking, and then I'm just going to get him.
Yeah. Well, he had,
I'm the comedian, man. I know how to set the joke up. I'm not here to let you fucking knock it down.
You're just trying to get ahead of it, is what you're saying.
Look,
So
I knew
silly. I knew I should
have.
have cut his ass off. This is why I don't listen. Fuck.
Yeah, it's
So tilted.
It's been a big dry spell, you know.
Man, I had it all lined up. I already knew what I was going to say. I was going to say, you know, I haven't seen any lady friends at the house recently. And then, you know, but no.
As is, we can all agree it was funnier this way. My delivery's better. The punchline's better. You getting upset at the punchline is also better.
that wins.
Just let me fucking cook, bro. It's my
that
show.
part wins.
You can always go back to Stoney's.
You know, it's been a long time. I don't think I can handle the. I haven't been back since that night, that fateful night when that woman rejected me. Just gave me the fucking cold shoulder. That was it. That was the turn. That was when I entered my villain era. You know, it was like I was 26. And I was like, I will not be denied. I have to change my ways. But as the manager eloquently pointed out, we do have an academy coming up. Actually, back-to-back academies. So. This is the traditional academy for all of those of you who have not attended. This will be November 12th to the 14th. It is 3 days long. Each day is divided between basic theory construction and gameplay on an RFID table, where we give you in real-time feedback on a stream that lives forever and ever and ever. The class portion is basically broken down into basic components, where day one is kind of an overview of game theory and how to compile strategies from a theoretical standpoint. Day two is a big emphasis on pre-flop, on sizing schemes, and as well as board textures. And then day three, we kind of get a little bit more into the nuance as far as how to play post flop, how to navigate polarized lines versus playing a little bit more, for lack of a better term, pot control. We'll call them delayed lines, if you will. So all of that takes place November 12th through the 14th. If you guys are interested, head to academy.solveforwhy.io, or click #academy in the chat and follow the link.
If you do end up on solveforwhy.io,
go ahead and sign up.
Yeah, well, go ahead and sign up for the
Free roll access.
Yeah, free roll access. If you want to dabble in the the all in access, you can get the new Poker Out Loud that just dropped today, episode 14 of season 11. But if you're there and you do want to see info on the academy, just go to the top header and click Academy, and it'll take you to the right website.
That's true. That is true. Also, for that free roll access, costs you nothing but an email address. You can see all of the past Academy playing sessions. If you have any questions as far as like what the product looks like in its final form, you'll be able to take a peek there. For all of those of you who have previously attended an Academy, including anyone who plans to attend the Academy in November, we're running an Elite Academy right afterwards. So that's going to be November 15th to the 17th. It's going to be 3 days. The basic structure is going to pick up where the original Academy left off. So we're going to just dive in deep into post-flop play. We're going to get into exploits quite a bit. This one's going to be structured a little bit differently. Day 1 and day 2 are just going to be class time. So each day is going to be about 7 hours in length with breaks where we will just be discussing basic principles of post-flop play, getting a little bit more into the nuance, and then diving into exploits. Day 3 will be nothing but gameplay, and it'll be poker out loud style. I think that everybody seems to be pretty on board for that. There's a small chance that we change the structure if enough people are kind of out on the poker out loud, but the early testing of people I've reached out to seem to be all in for it. So I think we're going to leave it that way. In any event, this is kind of like your academy. Since you're all returning attendees, we want to maybe be able to like customize this as best as possible for people who have already been a part of the academy in the past. Anybody who does want to attend both, we can work that out. Just, shoot a message to the manager. We'll obviously give you a discount for coming to both. No questions asked.
And just to be clear, the Elite Academy is poker out loud style, you said?
Yep.
So then it means the seats are limited to 9 players?
Correct, yeah.
So nine people. So
yeah.
Gonna go fast.
If for some reason we get like a big response where a bunch of former attendees want to attend and we sell out, we'll open up new dates for a second one. That's not an issue.
Right, yeah.
All right. Now that that's out of the way. What a weekend,
No.
huh?
I know where he's going. No, I can't do this. No, God. Anything else? Is there anything else you have to talk about?
There's nothing else to talk about.
I can't do this.
I do have something to talk about.
Oh, the Pirates won yesterday.
Anything else?
I didn't see that, actually. I finally gave up. I'll watch when Skeens throws, but that's it.
Pitches today.
Perfect.
You're back in.
I'm back in. Wait, so he throws...
He might throw a perfect game today.
I love to hear it.
That's what the fucking line says. They're minus 287.
Yeah, because the Marlins are down bad. They don't have anybody that can hit. Like, neither do we, but they really don't have anybody that can hit. And, it's Skeens. He's just so good.
Okay, so he throws today. Today's Monday. That means his next start would be potentially Sunday?
So he'll have 5 days off and then Sunday. Yeah, sounds right.
Do they play Sunday?
Do they play Sunday? They have to.
Okay, this is great
Sunday.
news. Because I'm really trying to get the Steelers Skeen parlay.
Ooh.
I'm gonna make this work, but I have to parlay Skeens because he's always gonna be such a fucking betting favorite.
No, he's really not that He's really not that heavy usually. He's like, because your team's
it depends on who they're playing.
Well, the thing is, your team's just not that good. So he's usually tops out at like minus 180.
Yeah, minus 180 is shit. I don't want to be fucking laying 2-1. I don't want to be like Matt Hunt out here laying the goddamn wood on a 7-1 favorite.
They took the L.
That shit gets expensive.
It took 6 days, but they finally lost.
They play Kansas City at home.
Okay.
Kansas City's a decent.
They're decent.
Team. Yeah, they're
above 500.
Right,
yeah,
right.
They're tender, if you will.
And if he doesn't pitch that day, it would be in St. Louis. The next day it would be
on Monday.
In St. Louis.
Okay, but I could still work that in.
Right.
Just like Monday Night Football, we get a Monday night Skeen sweat, if you will. Okay. All right.
Sounds like a lock of the century of the week.
Yeah. Man, I hate to borrow from all of these shows that influence me, but hey, Scott Van Pelt doesn't have his podcast anymore. Why can't we have Carl?
Yeah.
I think we should be able to adopt Carl at this point.
It.
And I imagine Scott would be fine with it. He wants to see Carl live on in infamy.
How many...
From Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to get that one either. Who's Carl?
Right there. He's on screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Carl.
All right.
And there was a whole bit that he did on Scott Van Pelt's show where every week they would do things like this. Like they would make picks and they're obviously not sharp.
Gotcha.
And so he would make the picks. They would have an animated skit where he'd be like, we got the Bills -3 because it's the lock of the century of the week.
That's great.
It's just so good.
So did Fields, did he exceed or underwhelm your expectations?
Not ready for that yet.
Not ready for
I'm
that
not ready
yet.
for it yet. I gotta get to a place. Before we get to the Steeler talk, I want to just basically enjoy my moment in the sun that cost me $3,000.
Oh boy.
Of Burrow never returning to the NFL in proper form again. I'm only going to win 100 off Conrad, and it cost me 3,000 in the survivor pool. But it's abundantly clear now, Joe Burrow is dead.
Yes, so
he is dead.
it didn't cost you 3,000. You sold
cost
some
him.
off. I have
So
a piece
for
of
those
it.
of us who don't watch football, who is this gentleman?
Okay, so a year ago, or a year and a half ago or so, Conrad made another sharp wager, as he tends to do. He gave me Patrick Mahomes, and he took Joe Burrow. And the bet was who would make more Super Bowls in their career.
No, 10 years. We still got a chance.
Sorry, yes, over 10 years.
And I fucked up because I didn't include that year because the Kansas City Chiefs were already out.
Yep,
And who does Burrows play for?
that's why you fucked up.
The Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay, so
He calls them Burrows too.
Yeah, me too. So to give you a little bit of perspective, Conrad's right. He could have, maybe worked in that year. But it wouldn't have mattered. Mahomes made the Super Bowl the next 2 seasons. He's going to make it again this year and next year.
Probably the year
No,
after.
Probably the year following.
Wait, he doesn't have a chance this year.
Oh, why? Did the NFL script get leaked like Travis Kelce's fucking breakup note?
No,
By the way, that's insane.
What?
Have you seen the
conspiracy
breakup
theories?
contract?
I heard about it. I didn't see it. I didn't actually see it.
Okay, this thing is fucking detailed.
well, obviously somebody in the internet just made it.
Yeah.
I don't think so. man.
Chat GPT made it.
I don't think so.
Yes.
I don't think so.
No,
It
come
seems like
on.
this one has some
Those
legs.
two are in love.
Yeah,
They're in love.
fucking love. He looks like a hostage at fucking the U.S. Open.
He looked like he was having a good old time.
Yeah, he looks like fucking one of those Dutch bros that. What the hell are they? The yodelers?
Oh.
With the suspenders and,
Yeah.
and the hat? Yeah, he looks like the yodeler on Price is Right that goes up the fucking thing. So, apparently, for those of you guys who haven't seen this story, not only was this contract leaked saying that they were going to break up September 28th, but it was incredibly detailed. Travis was going to take all of the blame for the split. He was going to admit to being unfaithful. Then she was going to write an album about it, 3 songs of which were going to be dedicated directly to Travis Kelce. And they had negotiated the terms as to what she was allowed to
disclose.
Yeah, not disclose, but put blame on him for, and what she was not. Right? Because it's an attack on his character in some sort of capacity, and it's all fabricated.
Right.
So, she can't just go out there and say he's got a little dick. Maybe she can. I don't know what the negotiated. I don't know. We don't know.
Didn't really get into details.
Right.
I mean, if it is true, it's sharp on both their ends. I mean, it's really sharp.
That's why I think it's true.
Yeah. I mean,
that's exactly she looks nothing like anyone he's ever dated in his entire life. His podcast just signed up.
Sometimes that's the way it works.
Oh,
you go
stop
through
it.
this phase, and then all of a sudden he ends up with the one he's supposed to be with.
I feel like this is a bad deal for Taylor Swift. She doesn't have much to gain, where he has a lot more to gain.
She gets
that's
an
not
album.
True. She can whip up an album anytime she wants.
You think this is the first contract she fucking has written up?
Wow.
You think Jake Gyllenhaal doesn't have the exact same fucking one sitting in his goddamn locker?
That would be funny if it all came out that all that shit was fake.
This-
But you still have great albums and you have great songs.
This woman might be a virgin. She might be married on the side to some plain Jane dude that you've never heard of, and she's just concocting these things for albums.
Nah, I turned her down.
Oh, okay. I need inspiration. I'm gonna work up this big public relationship with Travis Kelce.
Wasn't she with John Mayer too?
John Mayer. Lamana knows the whole history.
Yeah,
he got the whole
I know them
timeline
all.
down.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a bad deal. I mean, she's more popular than ever. She took over the fucking NFL. She literally might have a goddamn deal and works with them. Who knows? He just signed a $100 million deal for his podcast.
I know.
Incredible.
Right.
Genius. Just genius.
Wow.
Just navigating the social platform. I'm moving to LA.
Smart.
Getting out
Gotta
of
be
this
sharp,
town.
man.
It would never last a fucking day.
Not a minute.
No.
Not a fucking minute.
Way.
Not a minute.
You would literally be like Miley Cyrus, hop off the plane at LAX with your dream in a cardigan.
I do like cardigans.
I know you do.
I'm a big fan of cardigans. That's true.
I would also not. last a
I
day.
hope the contract is true, and I hope that the whole thing's being revamped now because it's been.
Oh, it
leaked.
has to, yeah. So
I hope now they get
forget
married. I hope it goes the whole other way.
They have a whole family together. Yeah. It's just hey, commit to the bit.
Right, exactly. They get it. It's yes and, now they have 3 kids living on a fucking farm with a white picket fence, all just not to let the internet win.
Yeah.
That is my kind of team.
Right.
I'm fucking on board for it. Anyway, going back.
She has that much competitiveness in her that she might do that.
I agree. So going back to the Joe Burrow stuff, the reason I brought it up is because we did enter the Circa Survivor. Got 14,000 entries, I believe, at $1,000 a pop. So 14 million to the winner this year. Which let's hope it's not Sean Perry, because that motherfucker don't chop.
It's gonna go all to Sean Perry.
Motherfucker don't chop, and we got to make it to the chop. That's all I'm trying to do.
I mean, if you make it that far, you can just start. Well, I don't know. I was gonna say you could hedge, but getting that getting that much money down is not easy.
Yeah, it's not gonna be simple. But we went all chalk this week. So the Bengals were the biggest favorite.
You went all chalk this week. You went on your own.
Motherfucker.
Okay, this guy a fucking absolute.
I gotta stick up for Berkey here.
Berkey
literally posted like this is what I think we should do, and then ask everybody for their input. I just gave him the thumbs up emoji. Which was more input than most. By the way, you definitely did offer other opinions. It wasn't like, hey guys, this is what we're doing. You're stuck with it.
Yeah. So
what was your input, Conrad?
Last thing I saw, the only thing that I saw was this is locked in.
Yeah, would have had it all. Would have had it all on the Giants and would be out everything.
No, we wouldn't have. But we damn sure would have had a couple on the Bucks.
We did.
We did. We had one on the Bucks.
I'm fucking sharp.
We would have definitely had fucking a couple on New Orleans.
We did.
A couple.
Okay, get off it.
Since he hasn't won the first game in like 14 years.
Who?
Since he hasn't won their first game of the season in like fucking a billion years.
That shouldn't have anything to do with anything.
We beat the field.
We
beat the field.
We did beat the field.
70% of us lasted. I don't know how many. Maybe 40%. Out.
So
34% of it was just the Bengals.
Yeah, you can pull up the graphic if you got it, Guap.
There was like 400 people that took the Falcons. Idiots.
So idiots.
I want to know who those 4 people there are that took the Steelers.
If it would have been up to me,
I know.
we would have been all fucking in on the Steelers.
I would have been right there with you, man.
I will say TJ Watt
still had all
is
10 teams.
A different animal, and he single-handedly wins football games.
Okay, let's again stick a pin in this
Everybody
conversation. I got a lot to say.
You want to build it up, I understand.
Yeah, we got to get there. Okay, so
but
45 people didn't show up, and if that's not a reason enough to be involved in this every single year, I don't know what is.
It's every single. That's 45 people this week,
buddy. I get it.
There'll be another 30 people next.
Down to like the last. I think it was like week 15. There was still somebody who didn't fucking enter. But I get it because we put our 10K. We got our 10 picks in, our 10 teams in at the 11th hour.
Right.
We had a 2-hour window. I had no idea. Conrad texts me. He goes, "You have till 4 to get picks in." I go, "Today?" He goes, "Yeah."
Right.
I'm like, "Okay." So I tried logging in the app. Can't fucking get in. Now we're scrambling.
And then you just were just like, okay, and then you just went on talking about like something else in the Survivor group chat, and I was just like, did you eventually get in?
Was just waiting on Connie to do his thing.
What was the problem? Did it just need to populate first, or what?
No, I thought she had told me what the password was or whatever, or didn't tell me. Regardless, I was talking to somebody while I was at the window or whatever, so I would kind of. You never have to go all the way downtown. I just realized second time, but you can go to like the Tuscany right there in Flamingo, and they have a Circus Sportsbook.
All right, there's a few different places you can go.
Yeah,
so it looks like 40% of the field or so was eliminated.
That's a lot.
Yeah, 35% had the Bengals. They were super chalk. They were 8-point favorites.
I mean, I guess when you have the biggest chalk team,
of course, that's going to happen every week. Somehow the line. This was the real swaying factor that got me to go on them. I hate the Bengals. I don't ever want to fucking pick them. Obviously,
of course not.
But the line opened, I think, at 7 or 7.5. And we were discussing back and forth, like, Chase is questionable whether or not he's even going to play.
T. Higgins
is out. Like, maybe this isn't the best play. And then I look, and the line fucking moved to 8. And it's like, all right, well, like, what are we doing here? Are we really just going to, like, look an 8-point home favorite in the face and just be like, nah.
Yeah.
I'm fading this one.
Right, yeah.
Fucking wish we would have. But we only put 30% of our picks on it, so we had 3 out of 10. Those got eliminated. Swept the rest of the board. We took the Seahawks, which was the second biggest favorite. Bills, which was the third biggest favorite.
We had to really sweat that Bills one. That wasn't looking good either. That was down. They were down 17-0 maybe.
Bears were down 17-0.
Bears were down 17-0 too.
Which we had
Yeah.
one of our.
Maybe it was 13-0 with the.
Let's stop. Let's stop and give Caleb a shout out
Shut
for
the
winning his
fuck
first
up.
game in the
geez.
NFL. Caleb, good fucking game, kid.
He didn't win anything,
He
bro.
only had one turnover.
I
That's how
gotta
you
tell
win
you,
games, baby.
I gotta tell you, yesterday alone is enough for me to know that whatever you've pulled out of Madden isn't worth shit.
Just give him a couple
Run
weeks.
those Madden sims.
Just give him a couple weeks.
They
He'll be
looked
all right.
atrocious.
So what do we have? We had
The defense
we had
looks strong.
We had 3 on Cincinnati, and then we had 2
2 on Seattle, 2 on Buffalo,
2 on Buffalo.
1 on the Saints, 1 on the Bucks, and 1 on the Bears.
Okay.
So we swept the board there. Somehow 3% of the field took the Falcons, which is hilarious.
Yeah. Idiots.
Clearly, they don't know that this was a home game for Pittsburgh.
It really was.
It fucking was. Jesus Christ.
Also, like, somehow 0.5%, 71 people took the Giants. I mean, was it the big contract for Danny Dimes that they somehow bought in?
I can't believe
this
man is getting paid
$168 million.
$168 million over the next 4 years. I can't breathe.
I read a
as
tweet
Giants
and
fan.
I didn't have time to fact check it, but it seems like it could be correct.
It is.
It said that since he signed that contract, he's thrown more touchdowns to the opposing team than to his own.
That is
Right.
true.
That is true.
Yes, and also what else is true is that him and Trevor Lawrence have the same exact stats.
Yeah, not the same fucking payday.
What?
Not the same payday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence got paid.
Trevor
didn't
Lawrence
he?
got paid.
Not that much, though.
Yeah, he got $202 million.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure he did.
Oh, they
a
both
lot,
suck.
yeah.
Trevor Lawrence is good.
I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence than Danny Dimes. Anyway.
Obviously. How the fuck did they ever decide that they were going to commit that money to him and then let Saquon go to a division rival?
I can't breathe.
What are we
Saquon's
doing?
going to be a bust. I don't think he did anything this week.
Hey,
He didn't even look good.
speaking of quarterbacks, how'd your new quarterback do?
He didn't do good.
He was fine.
He won the game.
He was serviceable.
Yes.
Exactly what I would call
any
Fields.
Pittsburgh quarterback ever.
No.
So Trevor Lawrence actually signed a 5-year, $275 million contract.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's so insane. That's like Dak numbers.
What you?
Yeah, Dak up
I mean,
4 years, 240.
Wait, is that official or was that offered?
No, that's official. He signed it like literally right before the game
Oh,
started.
okay.
Oh,
okay.
yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. 4 years, 240.
Extension, yeah. 4 years,
That's more than
$240
Lawrence.
million. Exactly what he asked for. So, Jerry Jones kind of just waited and waited and waited and then gave him exactly what he wanted.
Exactly what Ayuk did with the Niners.
Yeah.
There was a story that came out yesterday from Jake Glazer that said Ayuk in the 11th hour was going to the Steelers. They were in the process of trading them. John Lynch was inking the deal when Ayuk, for some unknown reason, came to practice early that day. Ran into, I can't remember the head coach's name. Shanahan, yeah. Ran into Shanahan. Shanahan said, "We're dealing you right now." And he's like, "Oh, I was like open to talk." Shanahan rushes up, stops it at the front office, says like he's willing to talk, like let's at least hear him out. And then they come down, they basically go, "You get the same deal we've been offering you all along, or you're fucking going to Pittsburgh." And he said, "All right, I don't want Russ cooking. I'm just gonna stay, I guess."
What do you think's more true, that story or the Kelsey breakup letter?
That story. I don't think Jake Glazer like speaks out of his ass. With
Yeah,
this stuff.
no. If that was Filipponi saying that,
Sure. Last thing on the Danny Dimes, Adam Schefter had to report today that Danny Dimes will still be the starting quarterback in week 2. Imagine 1 year off of signing the biggest deal in probably Giants history. They're still having to come out week after week going, hey guys, he's still our starting quarterback.
Yeah.
It's so disgusting.
It really is insane.
Why don't we have Saquon Barkley? Why did we make a trade for a quarterback or try to draft a quarterback at number 7?
Because you gave.
Why did we give Danny Dimes all this money?
You gave $168 million to a fucking bum. This guy wouldn't be a backup anywhere else in the league.
We couldn't trade him for a number 3 fucking draft.
You
pick
could
right
swap him right now.
Or a 3rd round draft.
You could
pick.
swap him right now, 1 for 1, and see no change whatsoever for Mason Rudolph. Just swap them out.
Well,
You wouldn't see a single thing change in that offense. It would be identical.
You could put me in, and it would be fucking identical.
Oh, relax, buddy.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, you're not.
You're right.
Because you're playing Madden.
You're
dude.
right, because I'd rush for at least 75 a game.
Jesus
No prob.
Yeah, you're the athlete that missed his fucking calling.
Duh.
So Russ did not cook yesterday. He kind of got cooked a little bit, to be honest. Game time decision ultimately was ruled out due to a calf. Now, there's a lot of memes going around the
Also,
internet.
he didn't play.
Correct.
Ah.
Well, we have 2 new quarterbacks, so one of them played. Meme going around the internet of Russ fully dressed on the sidelines, just chomping at the bit in spite of the fact that he was inactive. And look, I hate Russell Wilson as much as the next guy. He's the cringiest fucking human.
Tracks on something he would do.
Yeah, of course. He's as cringy as Abby's fucking poker news videos, okay? Like, I get it.
Damn.
I get it. Bro, Mr. Unlimited.
Catching strays.
Mr. Unlimited is as limited as they fucking come when it comes to the cringe factor. However, he was
unlimited in the cringe factor.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
There is no limits there.
However, he was actually the emergency quarterback.
So he was active.
Did have to be dressed.
You know, I was watching the game yesterday and I saw him and I was like, why is he in pads? Like, I literally thought that. Like, why is he in pads? Like, he's inactive.
You know, the pads part.
And then I started questioning it. I was like, maybe he's not. Maybe he's like, still active and he's like going to be a backup quarterback.
Yeah, he was the emergency QB.
Right. And then like I saw that tweet and I'm like, nope, this fucking guy is inactive.
Well, that's the internet
fully
just being
padded
the
up.
internet.
Right.
The issue was not that. Like, I think it probably flies under the radar, or maybe it doesn't because it's Russ and like, you're just going to make fun of this type of shit. The eye black though. When you're the emergency quarterback and you think to yourself, I better put the eye black on.
I mean,
Because it's just too likely that I'm getting out there, right?
I mean, you know what the eye black's for, right?
No.
Isn't it for sun?
I mean, yeah, technically, but like...
I think it's just bright lights in general.
Yeah,
anything
but,
like
yes,
that.
Yes, but none of that matters when you're on the fucking bench. Like, wear sunglasses, bro. You're holding a fucking clipboard for the game. And it's not even real eye black.
Can you fucking imagine if that was wearing sunglasses on the sideline on Sunday? Could you imagine what the internet would do to him?
It would just be, it would be
It would
nothing.
be way worse.
No,
It would be times 50.
It would be nothing but
Look at this clown wearing sunglasses.
It would be endless amounts of the like gangster meme where the GIF sunglasses come over top of you and the blunt comes out of your mouth.
Between that and
Thug
some
life?
type of
Thug
mix,
life, yeah.
between that and some type of mix of It's Always Sunny in Pittsburgh.
Right.
Shout out to Eric
Well,
Comp.
hey, they were in Atlanta. I mean, I
In a
understand.
dome. Oh my God, they
In
were
a
in
dome.
Atlanta in a dome.
Right.
That would have made the best. Wow. Wait, hold
Okay,
on.
so
What the fuck?
can we get back then to how ridiculous
Yes.
the eye black is? And it's also not even real eye black. It's the stupid
patches?
stickers like fucking Chance's nose thing. By the way, these guys are NFL fucking players. Not one of them has a breathe right strip on. Can we get over this? Like,
Right.
it's not doing shit for you. But I digress. I can understand where you would have thought that game was in Pittsburgh because it was fucking loud as shit to the point where Atlanta was on a silent count.
Kirk
Right.
Cousins wanted to change teams immediately. He's like, why
Immediately.
the fuck did I come here?
He was on a silent count, and then TJ on the other side is going like this to get the crowd going. The one
Just
on defense.
if you're Kirk Cousins and you're taking stock going, I could be on this team instead. These motherfuckers drafted a rookie quarterback in the first round to take my spot. I'm basically on a retirement tour getting paid $168 million. I would have taken $30 million less to go here and compete.
Yo,
And we would have fucking gave it to him.
quite
Although I'm kind of glad we didn't, to be honest.
No,
he didn't look
probably-
good.
I mean,
He's not healthy yet, man.
he might not be.
He tore his
perfect.
ACL. Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles game 1. Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles like game 15.
fastest quarterback to ever come back.
Yeah, from an Achilles injury.
From Achilles injury.
I mean,
Yeah.
to be fair, Rodgers was talking about coming back like week 15.
Yeah, but he didn't.
Well, that's because they weren't in contention.
That's all right.
I mean,
fair.
if they were in contention, they
All
would
I'm
they
saying
would have
is
thought about
that
it.
There's a big difference between.
Well, why is he coming back this year? They're not in contention.
I don't know what the fuck type of jokes you guys got, but I'll be the one laughing when it comes February.
Oh yeah, man, those New York squads, they've really been rolling out the red carpet for the fucking Super Bowl run.
We're finally gonna get one this year.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
It's damn sure not gonna be by
You
Danny
could combine
Dimes.
the two teams into one and you wouldn't have a super team.
Are you out of your fucking mind? The
No.
Jets are so good. The Jets are so good.
We're
And
gonna find out
time
tonight.
out.
We're gonna find out tonight.
Listen.
What the Jets are. They're going
You're right.
in a hostile environment against a Super Bowl contending team. Almost won it. Came this close to winning it last year. We're gonna find out.
We will.
We'll see.
And you know the crazy part about that? If you were to take the Giants that are good and bring them to the Jets, like they don't lose a game in the
hate
league.
See,
I can't even name a Giant that is good.
I
Are
always
you-
root for
are you
like
kidding me?
close. Like if it's not a Steeler game, then I just root for like a close game. I want to see a good
Yeah.
game come down to the end. Right, that game last night was amazing. Go Lions.
Yeah,
Go
to be
Corey.
fair, we wanted the
Yeah.
Lions to lose for
For
the
for
circle.
Survivor, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But tonight, man, do I just want to see the Niners just bash the hell out of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Jets
Yeah.
fans.
I mean,
Jets
I'm
are
not
going to
rooting any
fucking
ill
win.
will on.
It's Conrad that's done this to me.
One person
Blame
picked the
him.
Jets. Or by the way,
One person.
one
is the
person.
Jets? How many-
123 people picked the Niners.
Weird.
Yeah, weird. I would have never guessed either.
So Conrad, you have your own.
It was Conrad.
It was
Yeah,
Conrad.
Conrad has one entry.
He's like, you guys think I picked Tampa Bay yesterday? No, I slid that into the.
Just incredible. Yeah, I mean, I think that I think the Jets are one of the most overhyped teams I've seen in recent history.
A good
as far-
defense.
Sure. You know what? There are a lot of
Got
teams.
a good running back.
A lot of teams all of a sudden that have good defenses and good running
Pretty
backs.
good wide receiver too.
Cleveland, good team, good defense, good running back. Fucking mopped.
Do they have a good running back?
I mean, Ford's legit, and Chubbs will be back week 5, week
One of
6.
the best in the
You call him
fucking.
Chubbs?
One of the best
Happy
players in the
Gilmore.
league. Well, the other one's name is Chubbs.
It's Chubb.
I know, but Nick, there is a Chubbs in the league.
Oh, I don't care
He's,
about him.
He plays for the Dolphins, pretty sure.
Yeah.
He's
Oh yeah,
Chubb
he's
too.
a defender.
Yeah.
Isn't he Chubb
But I think
too?
he's also Chubb.
I thought it was
Yeah.
Chubbs.
Yeah. Well, we like Chubbs. We're gonna go with Chubbs. But yeah, the
Chubbs and
Deshaun
Burrows.
the Deshaun Watson experiment in Cleveland is.
Oh, that was fun to watch.
It's one of the best dumpster
Yeah,
fires
that was
I've
fun
seen.
to watch.
And you know what else is also so entertaining about all this?
Danielle's tweet.
No, not only is Cleveland the dumpster fire that it's always remaining to be, but somehow Baker Mayfield has a resurgence and is just leading the fucking charge.
Oh, it's amazing.
For the division-winning
It
Tampa
really
Bay
is
Buccaneers
amazing.
year in and year out.
Yep.
And you know what? I'm a fan all of a sudden. I hated the fucking guy when he was in
Oh, I
Brown.
love him now. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
Yeah. I got Mike Evans everywhere in fantasy football, so
Yo,
he just
Mike
keeps
Evans
flinging to
is
him.
fucking good.
First
He's
ballot
Just
Hall of
throw
Famer.
the ball.
Relax.
No,
First
he has to
ballot
be.
Hall of Famer.
He has to be. He's had 1,000
Been
yards
saying
for
it for
10 years
years.
in a row.
I mean, I don't want to get into this debate, but
He's like one of the best wide receivers ever. And
He is. He really
for you
is.
to like argue that is insanity.
one of the best wide receivers
Ever. Yeah,
ever.
ever. Look at his
Ever.
stats.
Yeah.
Do it. Just
It's
go
absurd.
do a little deep dive
He's
into his
so-
stats,
it's
and
so
then come
quiet.
back tomorrow, and then we can have a discussion.
Yeah.
All right, man. I just know that like was Calvin Johnson a first balloter? Or his first ballot guy? I don't think so.
He should be.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he should be.
But I think, honestly, the longevity of Mike Evans shows way more.
What is this, his 8th year?
10th,
11th?
11th?
10 straight years.
Nep-
He has 10 straight years with 1,000 yards.
Never had less. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Like,
I mean,
the
look,
guy's a fucking animal.
we all agree here he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
First ballot's a stretch.
Listen, you throw
His
the
name
ball
first
in the
ballot
air,
I like to
and
speak
Michael
in
Evans is
hyperbole.
around, he just
I'm
gets
fine
it.
with that. It's what he does with it is the problem.
Listen,
okay?
I don't care. I know I'm right.
It's what he does with it that becomes a bit of the issue.
Let's go look at his stats for
I
fun.
saw something yesterday where there was a play where the Browns just got fucking cooked. Who were they playing? I can't even remember.
Dallas.
Dallas, that's right. I think it was CeeDee Lamb just like cooked somebody, or maybe it was one of the other wideouts.
Probably it's probably CD.
It's
for
somebody
like
CeeDee.
it was for like
Yeah.
a 65-yard touchdown.
Oh,
Right?
Cook.
Oh yeah.
Cook,
It was-
Cook. I forgot about
Cook cooked them. So they put the tweet out and they show the highlight of Dallas, just cooking in this spot, and it says somehow Myles Garrett, whatever I can't remember what the metric was that they're using, like pass pressure or something along those lines. Somehow his score went up on this play. And it's like, yeah, that's right. I forgot that people have no idea what a great edge rusher looks like when they're not watching TJ Watt.
Right.
Like everybody else is so pedestrian by comparison that they're just like, oh, this guy's in a league of his own, so we're not even going to give him the accolades anymore. Motherfucker jumped a snap yesterday. Perfectly. There was an image where they had slowed it down to frame by frame. So you could look at it each frame and you see the ball move and then TJ's hand lift.
Yeah.
Like instantaneously apart from one another, but clearly like the ball moved first.
He's so good that he tricked the officials.
Yeah. And the officials just owned up to it and they were like, we missed that one.
Conrad can't breathe for there.
Tell us we're wrong. Tell us we're fucking wrong.
TJ Watt is the best player in fucking almost ever.
There you go.
The guy is absolutely
Full
amazing.
stop.
I just can't hate on TJ. The rest of your fucking bum ass team sucks. Other than Pickens, he catches anything.
Pickens is a fucking monster.
Yeah.
I don't think this was it, but actually maybe it was. That would
No,
be
this is the punt return.
Yeah, that would be even funnier.
That's Turpin.
If it were this. Actually, maybe this was it and it was just a giant meme and I missed the joke.
That would
which would be even funnier, but the rest of the team, yeah, we're strong in some areas, we're weak in others. Naj is off to another great start. Pickens looks fantastic.
Do you want to see Justin Fields get another start?
I don't care.
You don't care?
I truly don't care.
You don't think the team is better or worse if it's Russell? You don't have an opinion there, or you think it's just a wash?
I don't think we beat good teams with Fields, as is. But I also don't know if it matters.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is because I think that Fields throws a good deep ball, and he offers escapability, which is nice. Especially,
it's really nice. Like the fact that he can just scramble and get a first down at any time is such a big weapon to have.
These thirds and mid, where he can drop. But the problem, and this is what I've been harping on for a long time. We went over this the other day. Of like, we looked at a list of quarterbacks who've rushed for over 500 yards in a season. There were 25 of them, and only 3 had won the Super Bowl. And that didn't surprise me because I feel like when you go through that list, there were more MVPs than Super Bowl winners, which doesn't shock me because what ends up happening is like instead of having a guy
Lamar
who's
Jackson.
Right, yeah. Instead of having a guy who is very cerebral in nature, like a Brady or a Manning or whatever, who have to rely on the ability to read a defense, to find hot routes, to be able to progress through multiple reads and make accurate throws. These guys have their legs. So it's like it's always the bailout. And a lot of times that makes up for not being as sharp at all those other areas. And the issue is eventually it catches up. Yeah. Like eventually like scrambling for first downs doesn't make up for the fact that you're not throwing any touchdowns.
Right.
And like that's kind of what we ran into yesterday. I think Russ is a lot more serviceable in being a pocket quarterback now that he's a little bit older. Sure. But the problem is both of them get sacked a fucking ton.
Yeah.
And for 2 totally different reasons. And the line is still very young. We still have a lot of injuries we're dealing with. And, I just have a fear that if Russ is back there, we're looking at like a 40 sack season, which is tough to fucking overcome. But if Fields is in there, I think we're looking at like a sub 15 touchdown season from the quarterback position.
Yeah.
At least throwing wise anyway.
And we'll
maybe
see.
he runs for 10. Who knows?
He definitely could do that. It's weird. He makes some like really nice accurate throws, and then he makes ones that are just like way inaccurate.
Insane,
and it's just like if he can clean that up a little bit,
he's just going to turn the ball over, period.
Yeah.
And like Russ is going to lose us a lot. He's going to make it a lot
especially when you
plays.
run like he does too, you're prone to fumbles, right? Guys coming from behind you and hitting the ball out.
And that's kind of like the give and take is like we have this defense that is such ball hawks. Like they're going to turn the ball over a ton. They're going to be one of our best assets. We have guys like Naj who protect the ball incredibly well. The wideouts are all, at least
Najee looked good.
Naj looked great. At least Pickens and Freiermuth, like these are guys that are possession guys. They're going to protect the ball. They're deep threats in Pickens, whatever. But it's tough whenever you just have a giant question mark at quarterback. And like I understand now, like how lucky and blessed a franchise is to get that franchise quarterback, and it's so rare. Like Roethlisberger might be the only one in our lifetime that we see for the Steelers. You know?
Lifetime's a long time, but
is it?
but like in 20 years, yeah.
I mean, in your dad's lifetime, he only had Bradshaw and Roethlisberger.
Yeah, so we deserve one more.
maybe, but like, I think the league gets more complex, and that's not to say you can't win a Super Bowl without a franchise guy.
I do agree with you. It is really tough, and you really, I mean, maybe you can win you can get lucky. You can do was it Trent Dilfer?
But that's like the only example of these.
Yeah, right. But it just shows that it is possible. Right. But like, it's very hard to be consistent winners in the playoffs, making deep runs into the playoffs. You need to have that guy. Yeah. And it's, if you don't, then you're
even still, it's still not guaranteed. Like the Killer Bees were all shut down by just a really stout New England team that wasn't that talented from top to bottom. Right. They were just on the aggregate really fucking good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we'll discuss this more throughout the week. We have the Weekend Warrior recap tomorrow. Jeff and Brent are going to be on briefly Thursday, since the Poker Masters are starting tomorrow as well in studio. Is it tomorrow or is it the next day? The 10th. So tomorrow.
This week.
Yeah, tomorrow the Poker Masters begin. They're going to dip in at the start of the show on Thursday. We're going to get their picks for the week. So I don't know if we'll do Weekend Warrior fully on Thursday or not, or if we'll just hear out their side.
What was the problem with doing it on Thursday? Was there any problem?
Then we just don't have anything to talk about Friday.
True. Maybe we did figure this part out.
Maybe we'll just get Brent and Jeff's takes. We'll see. Yeah. But yeah, so we'll get more into NFL talk then. I had a weird week poker-wise. I know Guapa brought it up earlier, but I ended up breaking even for the week, winning and losing $100K. The winning side of it was mostly playing Okin heads up in PLO.
Wow.
Which is such a funny...
You love this.
It's just so funny to me.
I'm actually mad at you.
Why?
Because, I love Okin heads up sessions with PLO more than anything fan history-wise. And why didn't I got nothing. I got nothing. Not one in the group. Nothing. It
was truly a very uneventful 4 or 5 hours, I think. But there was one particular hand where it's just hilarious the way the outcome worked out. We played a 3-bet pot where I 3-bet ace, king, queen, queen. I did tell you this hand.
Ace, king, queen, queen.
I think, or maybe I told it to Landon.
Landon, I didn't hear it.
I actually prefer the Okin impressions versus the hand histories.
You'll get one out of this one for sure. So I 3-bet ace, ace, queen, queen, king with king, queen of spades. He calls, and it comes 10, 8, 6, rainbow, 1 spade. I decide to check, and he makes some like very strange size bet. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I truly don't know because I don't know shit about PLO. But in Hold'em, I would say that this size would be a little bit poorly thought out. It was something in the neighborhood of like 35%. Which, whatever. You can do whatever the fuck you want. It's not that big of a deal. But like, if you're going to reopen action here, I think you kind of want to start to go a little bit on the larger size. You want to be checking back a lot of your middling strength hands. So when he has hands like 9, 8, and 2 overs, like maybe like King Jack 9, 8. Yeah. This is the type of hand. Oh, not King Jack 9, 8. Sorry, like King Queen 9, 8. This would be the type of hand that I think you would want to check back a little bit more.
That makes sense.
If you have a hand like, King Jack 8, 7 type of hands.
It's just stuff with pairs and gutter balls.
These hands that block the nuts have a little bit of equity, but like, aren't really super live.
Yeah. They can't really call. They can't defend against a raise.
Right. I think like if you're going to play these hands as bets ever, they're going to be for the large size. And then you're just going to be like checking back at a reasonable frequency otherwise.
Yeah.
So I found the sizing to be a little bit strange. I wasn't sure if like the nuts fell into that category or not, or like sets. In my mind, I guess I just didn't think too much of it in real time, and I just like moved on knowing my hand is a pure continue. So I call. Turn is it wasn't a rainbow flop. It was 2 clubs, I believe. 2 clubs
and
1 spade.
Yeah. It was 2 suits that I didn't have, that's for sure.
Wait.
No, you said you had spades.
You had king, queen of spades.
Sorry. It was
you had a backdoor flush.
Gotcha.
I had a backdoor flush draw.
There was a flush draw present.
And I didn't block any of the front door flush draw.
Understood.
So it turns the queen of hearts, which is just like effectively a stone brick, but brings in Jack 9. I check, and now he bets 80% pot. And now this sequence is very strange because the nuts have somewhat changed.
Yeah.
9-7 is still a very good hand, obviously, but now Jack 9 gets in there, so now it's like, well, did he have Jack 9-7? I mean, that's a very powerful flop hand, but like, wouldn't we want to just start building the pot in some sort of at least half pot?
And go more
know?
pot, yeah.
Yeah, at least half. You know, that's kind of like when you think about PLO, the defaults for people who like aren't very studied or aren't really much of anything is just like they bet pot, they bet half pot, and they check.
Yeah, I would think more the mini wraps and like the nuts and sets on flop would want to go bigger.
Yeah,
like
yeah, just pretty much everything
minimum.
that's driving equity. Like I think the only hands that may feel like they need to go small for protection's sake, like just trying to get me to fold type of stuff, is like maybe just like a naked strong showdown hand, like just 9-7 bear. You know, like ace king 9-7.
Yeah.
Or maybe like a 2 pair type holding with a backdoor, like 10-8 king queen.
9-7 was
Flop straight.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So now he bets 80% pot, and it's like, well, this is a bit odd, but I have top set, so like we really don't need to think much about this decision either. Like clear call. River is like the deuce of diamonds. I check, and he bets 75% pot.
No flush game in.
No flush came in.
Okay.
And it's like, I think in theory I just have like a pure call.
I would probably never fold you.
Yeah, I just don't think my hand can ever fold. The problem is that the reason why it never folds in theory is because you beat value bets.
Yeah.
In practice, I don't think he's ever betting a worse set, and I for sure don't think he's ever betting 2 pair.
Ooh.
Right, so
If you don't think
He's
he's
checking
betting,
back a set.
I think
He has tens. He just checks back.
I think so.
or so you just think it's just gonna be bluffs.
The way that I think he views this is that regardless of the sizings that were used, it's a 3-bet pot that was 3 streets of aggression, and so my defending range is very tight. Like, I don't think he thinks I would ever call aces here, or call a hand like 8-6, you know, for 2 pair,
Yeah.
or even like call a hand like maybe 10-8 for middle 2.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think he thinks that that's the way the game is played, because he's used to playing ring PLO, and you could just never value bet a set here 3 times in ring. I don't believe.
Probably not, but you're playing heads up, so it's kind of.
I know the difference,
Yeah.
but that's why I'm winning.
Okay. Okay, so I see what
Right?
you're saying.
Like, he doesn't 3-bet bad aces.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
it's
crazy.
Right. So it's like he plays heads up like it's 9-handed.
Yeah.
And so I have to kind of like think the way that he thinks when I'm making close decisions. So I think my hand in theory is just like a pure call, no decision to be made. Like I have the 3rd or 4th nuts, whatever. But in practice, I don't think he's ever value betting worse. So now I have to start to find the bluffs.
Well,
and it's kind of challenging.
Yeah, I mean, do you ever think he plays Jack 9 like this?
Jack 9's the nuts.
I know.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I would think I think all the mini wraps go like if he has Jack 9 in the piece, I just think it goes bigger. It's hard to have a piece when
On
you
the
have
flop.
a queen in your hand also.
On the river, on the flop. you mean?
On the flop.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you know, you're being like pretty specific to him just having naked Jack 9. There's many combinations of Jack 9. He could just have like Jack 9-7. He could have Queen Jack 9. Like,
I mean, you have 2 queens in your hand.
sure. So King Jack 9. I mean, these are all like redraws in some sort of capacity, right?
Yeah, I just think they want to go bigger.
I mean, I think everything wants to go bigger on the flop, but I think that like, you know, this line's kind of nonsense in the sense that like the sizing scheme used is weird.
Yeah.
Just with all hands, it's just weird to go like small, medium when you just have like big available to you.
Yeah.
It's just a weird line.
It's just an awkward situation.
So like, I really don't know what to think, because I have to try to find bluffs here, and me trying to logic through the Okin brain of like what wants the bluff is just so fucking hard. Because like in my mind, somehow he has to have some form of jacks.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so I guess he has hands like Jack 10 ace. Like that would make sense to me. But also just kind of like, why bet the flop? You know? So I have a little bit of a disconnect there. But it's like, okay, well, that would be an easy mistake to make. He just bets the flop small and then he turns gin.
I mean, that would honestly make the most sense.
Right. So it's like, okay, well, like maybe, you know, some of this stuff can make sense, whatever. So finally I was just like, I really don't know what to do, man. I just don't know if you have enough bluffs here. I don't even know how you're thinking about the spot. Like, I'm just going to, I'm going to flip for it. And he goes,
You flipped a coin here.
so I go, yeah, we call
Like
it
a pure 50-50?
yeah, we call it goosing it. So so the way we do it is you flip your player card, right? And by the way, like, this is really funny. So people goose it all the time in the regular Bobby's Room game, but they are. I'm not saying it's an angle. I'm not saying they're doing anything. They're not doing anything shady, right?
It was crazy because before you said this, I was going to say, I really hope you guys like have to be committed to the goose. Like after you say I'm goosing
No,
it.
we are. You are. You're 100% committed to it. It's binding.
But so like I would like to be able to show my cards.
Yes.
Like bluffing.
And-
Like I'm bluffing you.
Exactly.
So.
And that's exactly what happens.
Okay,
That's
good.
exactly. But almost everybody who gooses it in the Bellagio does this weird thing where they hold the card and they just wrist flip, right? And it gets like 3 rotations. So it's like it doesn't affect the outcome that much. Like I don't think it's manipulated. I don't think they're pulling an angle or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But it's just like truly not a fair. Not fair is the wrong word. It's not a true flip, right? Like you need to get like 10 or 12 rotations on this motherfucker.
That is true.
Like if you're flipping a coin and you just go like this and it rotates 3 times.
What
like
is the proper goose technique then?
in my opinion, it's you put it on your finger just like a coin and you flip it. Yeah.
Or you could just find another way to randomize it.
Sure, but this way's fun. So I go.
You could just use a coin.
So I go. No, who the fuck has a coin?
That's what I said.
It's 2024.
Coins, yeah.
So I go. All right, I'm goosing it. Do you want to show your hand? And he goes, I have a bluff.
That's so good.
Is it though?
That's so good. I'd be so tilted right now if I was you, because I don't think I'd ever fold here.
Right. That was definitely frustrating.
So tilted.
That was frustrating because I was already on the side of like, I was so close to calling too because I thought I like picked up on something while I was waiting him out, and I was just about to slam in a call, and I said to myself, be responsible. You can't just be fucking flicking it in all willy-nilly. Like you can't, like he gets so much pleasure out of just like value owning you in spots where he never has fucking bluffs. Like just be responsible and flip the fucking coin. So I go, all right, I'm gonna flip the coin. I go, I'm goosing it. Do you want to show? And he goes, I have a bluff. And I go, okay. I go, all right.
I can't believe you didn't immediately ask him to show his goddamn hand.
So I go, do you want to show? Do you want to show? And he goes, no. And I was like, all right, that's fair.
He's got like
which
4
is fine.
jacks
Like
in his hand.
he just shouldn't show. So I go, all right, gold is call and white is fold, right? And he goes, whoa. Wow! Now how are you gonna flip this thing?
You should have let him flip it.
No.
What are you talking? Are you kidding
Absolutely
me?
not. Maybe the dealer, but like,
Yeah.
she barely spoke English. So I go, I'm gonna put it on my finger, and I'm gonna flip it upward. And he goes, ah! All right. If it's off the table, it doesn't count.
Wait, it's supposed to count if it's off
you
the
would
table.
think he would want it off
to
the
be
table, more rotations.
Right. Off the table was, way more variance.
And I go, okay, only on the table. And he goes, all right. And I go, anything else you want to negotiate? And he goes, we can split the pot.
God, I love this so much.
And I look at him, I go, the fuck we can. So he goes, all right, flip it. I'm like, okay. So now I'm like really focused on all my juju. Like I'm channeling every astrology girl I've ever dated.
You just never lose.
I'm just every bit of manifestation that I can draw from every crazy astrology girl I've ever dated. I'm
Bust
just
out your
like
crystals.
Wait,
What
side are we rooting for? The gold?
We want the gold. So I give it a flip. And I mean, this is a fucking flip. We're talking 26 rotations.
That bitch went right off the table.
Flat as could be, right in front of my cards. Call.
And this is how you broke even for the week.
God damn it!
God, that's so good.
So then he
I
shows
love
his
that.
hand. He shows his hand, and he had Jack 7-7,
Okay.
which is actually like a really
Yeah.
great bluff.
Yeah.
I disagree with the flop size, obviously, but otherwise, like pretty reasonable line that he took. I go, you should be happy, man. You took a really great bluff. Like You had me to the point of indifference. I flipped the fucking coin.
You fold your hand if he plays it correctly.
He goes, I should have talked you into chopping the pot. And I go, I can't chop the pot because when you aren't bluffing, you're not going to give me the option to chop the pot.
Right.
And he goes, yeah. I guess you could have taken half of my bet plus half the pot. Which actually I do think
You would have did that.
I thought of the math. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
No, I would have fucking done that.
No.
If it's only $75K pot, like let's fucking gamble.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to see the pain in Okin's face.
Yeah.
God, if he just goes pot on flop where 75%, you just find a fold by river.
Oh man, I don't know.
Depending how deep you are. Like if it's that makes that much of a difference.
River would have been all in.
Yeah, I mean you might have to. Like it's hard. It's hard to call there. It's
hard, but the board texture changed twice, so it's like I have to give him exactly Jack 9-7. Like I know he's not potting with 9-7.
Yeah,
naked.
It's definitely not just 9-7, but him having 2 jacks in his hand, like this is.
He's also like
time.
really lucky with me having the hand that I have because for sure if I have queen jack king or queen jack ace instead of ace king queen, I turbo call river. Like just having 1 jack is more than enough, or having 1 9 is more than enough.
Agreed.
And a similar spot happened later where it went check on a king 8-6 rainbow board. Turn was the deuce of diamonds, and I had king 6 with the king of diamonds, and then 2 side cards. Oh, sorry, king 10-6, so the 10 mattered. Okay. And the king of diamonds blocking the king high flush draw. I bet like 3/4 pot on the turn. He calls. River is a 9, completing 10-7 and 7-5, and I block, knowing that I can still get value from a lot of worse hands, like he has worse 2 pair type of things. But also I block 10-7, which is really important here. And he like pots, and I just look at him. And I go,
Call.
I call. I didn't think very long on this one. I was just like, I call.
I have a 7.
And he goes, you got it. Oh, no. He never says you got it. He goes, jacks. Like, jacks? The fuck are jacks? How are jacks helpful to you? And then he shows he had, I think, jack 10 dangler. Okay. Like jack 10-3 or something like that. And he had busted diamonds. So it's so much easier. My point is in bluff catching in those spots. Like in that instance, I even just went to the length of inducing just by having 1 solo blocker. Like I don't have 2 diamonds, really good. I do have a 10, which blocks 10-7, really good. If he shows me the nuts here when he raises, like Godspeed.
Could you imagine if he was like, how great of an opportunity would it have been for him to slow roll you and tell you he's bluffing on the hand where you flipped, and he just has the nuts. Has the nuts, and then you're just like, and then if you fold whatever, he just doesn't say anything.
Right.
But like if you call, you're like, yes. He's like, just kidding, I got the nuts, and you're like,
it would have been
you would have.
I celebrated so hard.
That's what I'm saying.
When it landed gold, I go, yes, yes.
What an amazing time to slow roll.
It would have been, honestly, that would have been fucking next level. I wonder if people would frown upon that, because I might stick that one in my back pocket for.
That's for you there, Berk.
I mean,
you can have that.
You save those for special plays and special characters
and special players. Yeah, that's right. Sketch knows what I'm talking about. All right, let's get to in the muck.
Oh, I thought we were doing cooking. Sorry, guys. Second.
It's been too long. We'll cook tomorrow.
Yeah.
We cook tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. We're ordering takeout tonight.
Yeah.
Takeout.
All right, here we are again. I'm back, baby. I'm back in the muck. I decided to go down to the old win, play a little 1-3, and they get me right back in the muck. Now, I know when you guys like to say, oh, you just post, just bad beat hands, which is,
Mostly true.
Yeah, mostly true. And whatever, the river on this hand is
also true of this one.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm setting up. Like whatever. This hand is like the river's whatever. I don't care. That's why I'm posting it. It's more of the flop and the turn decisions that I have that it's got me in the muck. So we're playing 1-3. Under the gun 1 opens to 10 and folds to me in the big blind. I am for everybody out there who submits in the mucks. See, this is a heads up hand. Submit heads up hands and they'll get put on.
That's
Anyways,
right. Tell 'em.
yeah, I call with the king 9 of diamonds. We get a flop of queen jack of clubs, 5 of diamonds. So I have a gut shot and a backdoor. I check. He goes 75%. I call. Turn is the 3 of diamonds, now giving me the backdoor. I check. He goes about 75% again, 35 into 51. I call again. The river is the deuce of diamonds, giving me the backdoor flush, king high flush. I bet 90 into 121, and he shoves, and, it's 1-3, so I'm like, But I call pretty quickly, and he rolls his hand over, and I see 2 small diamonds. I'm like, oh, nice. And as I go to turn my hand over, he's like, straight flush. I'm like, oh, shit. And he shows me the 6-4 of diamonds for the straight flush.
I like his line.
Yeah?
Turn size is too small. Should be 2E, I think. Double flush draw board like this, the 70% bet doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I say that relatively speaking. Like, bear in mind when I'm criticizing size, it's just in the sense that there's a better size available.
Yeah.
Not that there aren't hands that want to go 75%. Of course there are. Like, a lot of people with ace queen and a diamond here, or like ace of clubs, queen of diamonds here, might want to potentially go 75% with that hand because it doesn't feel quite strong enough to go over bet, but you also want to make sure that you're putting in some big bets. The big thing with like over bet sizings is that the value that props up that size, it like usually the line where it's too thin to go that big is when you are value cutting yourself versus the check call range. And on a board texture like queen jack 5-3, facing big blind defense, you can probably comfortably overbet king queen and not expect the big blind to have 2 pair plus, right? So on a board where they don't really ever have 2 pair through the check call line, it's totally fine to take your best top pair, top kicker type of hands and go large. But understand that there's a different motive for king queen and ace queen to overbet here than there is for a hand like queen jack or jacks, right? Like, the stronger you are in your range, the more that overbet is driven by just wanting to get all of the money in the middle. For like ace queen and king queen, it's mostly derived around this is strong enough to support a big check, but I largely just want to protect versus the draws and combo draws and things of that nature, and I'm willing to play an all-in pot if I have to, kind of thing. So there is a bit of a, I guess, structural difference whenever you're looking at the top versus the bottom of a range that can choose a big bet for value. And I think the reason I'm highlighting that is because what often happens is that people will just miss the overbet altogether because it feels too uncomfortable at the bottom.
Yeah.
Right. That king queen ace queen region feels way too uncomfortable, and then they feel uncomfortable as well taking like a high equity hand like ace 4 of diamonds and also including it.
Diamonds.
Well, 6-4 gets a little bit tricky. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if it just checks back, because when you get jammed on,
that sucks. Yeah.
it's pretty brutal.
Right.
I mean, it's probably enough equity that you have to call off. But I imagine some of the jamming range from your side includes not just diamonds that dominate it. Like your particular hand, I'm pretty confident versus overbet would just shove. But also hands that like it might be drawing
It's funny because
nearly dead to.
Yeah.
Like jack 10 of diamonds.
I felt like if like a bigger bet came in, I would have been more prone to raise.
That's weird. I was thinking the opposite.
Just to get it, like,
Brian's definitely correct.
Yeah.
Because
now I feel like when he goes big on the turn, like what is my shove gonna do? I feel like I don't have any fold equity.
Well, that implies that he never bluffs.
Yeah.
Right? He should have plenty of hands like king 10 that have you beat, that have to bet fold. Hands like ace 10 that have you beat, that have to bet fold. Worse diamonds that could potentially call off. There's a lot of positives that come from it. Worse clubs that potentially have to fall. Not call off, but fold. There's a lot of positives, I think, but the most important one, and the reason why King 9 is unclear, is because it still maintains some showdown value, but not nearly as much as like Ace High. So when you face the larger bet, the reason why you feel more inclined to be all in is because you're going to face all in a lot on the river. When you face the smaller size, it's like, well, there's still going to be some playability on the river. So I can understand why you weren't quite as inclined to check raise, especially because you're just naturally getting a better price now too.
Yeah.
I still think your hand probably qualifies. I'm not entirely sure.
I definitely considered, obviously.
Well, we're talking about the turn, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like you have your worst king high here, I think. I'm not sure we'll look at the sim, but I don't think king high backdoor versus 75% calls. I think you need the gut shot with it.
Right.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So you actually have like one of your worst hands. Of course you'll have slightly worse that becomes easier to play. Like you have 10-9 of diamonds and clubs, and they'll both probably jam.
Yeah.
You'll probably have some 9-8 as well. But like, yeah, like you're more inclined to just be calling regardless of size with your 5x of clubs, 3x of clubs, jack x of diamonds, queen x of diamonds, and then either playing jam or fold with the remaining portions. For the most part, ace 4 of diamonds will just call. Ace 4 of clubs probably just call. Enough showdown value there with the ace high holding, I think, that you can just continue through a call. But my instinct is that king 9 just doesn't perform well enough through the call region.
Yeah, it's like you call and then you brick and then you're left with king high on the river. It's like, what do I do?
Right. And it opens up like, the 6-4 of diamonds to just win then.
Yeah.
Assuming that they keep up their aggression. They don't really have that's the biggest issue is like when you're considering showdown value in your draw region, they need to check back hands that you beat.
Right.
So in other words, like he can have king 9 of clubs and you'll chop.
Which in this environment they miss bluffs all the time, right?
Sure.
You do see them just like can't believe they check down that or check back that river hand because they just
like
never win. So like it just happens.
The problem with that is that you also lose value when you make your hand then.
That's
which
true.
is why you led for 3/4 pot on the end.
Right.
And a hand like 10-9 is never going to slow down, probably.
Maybe not.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
It's
feel
tough to say.
I feel like as played like river, like I just have to bet because they don't bet for me. They don't value bet thin enough, right? They don't bluff enough, so I just have to bet.
I would be a little bit more inclined to check because there's so much queen X and jack X of diamonds that gets there.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a better chance that you just cool them off because I think that if he has queen 10 of diamonds and you bet 75% pot, he never raises. And that's true. That's an issue because like you can just check jam.
I know. I thought about that. I was like, because I was thinking, I'm like, does he just have like queen jack of diamonds and just call my river bet?
Right.
And like, which just like, does that mean I should be folding
versus
river,
jam?
Folding versus jam.
Quite
Like,
honestly,
maybe.
if this was a front door flush draw, I'd be more inclined to lead. But being there's a back door, I'm definitely I like to check raise a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's
It's
sneaky.
just like less likely that
It's just sneaky, like
sneaky,
even if they like
they're not as worried about that hand
they will
as
say
much as they are the clubs.
they will
getting
say
there.
to themselves and then still bet and then still call.
Sort of
with like queen jack.
Sort of. I think like for them they have to block the queen and the jack of diamonds in order to feel comfortable value betting. And if they have like a half block like pocket queens with the queen of diamonds, they won't bet that hand, but like when you lead they'll always call.
I would kind of disagree. I don't think they even like really consider if they have the queen or jack of diamonds in a lot in Brian's
they are when the
environment
back
here.
door comes through.
And honestly, in Brian's environment in this particular hand,
You think that when Brian checks the river after a backdoor flush completes, that like hands with no diamond in them are just value betting?
Yes.
Oh, I strongly disagree with that.
I honestly, they don't even look if they have a diamond.
I think that's crazy.
It is.
I think people are way too afraid of flushes for that to be true.
I think front door, yes.
I don't think
Back
it
door
matters.
is a big difference.
Nah, I mean maybe 10 years ago, not now. People know that people float.
He's playing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, but they know people float. They float themselves.
You float?
I don't use that word.
Why don't you get some reverse floating out there?
I call with a fucking purpose.
All right.
Let's take a look and see what the sim wants to do. Okay, so obviously you have a pure check on the flop. Now I changed it. They want to. So the sim chose B40 for range. So it was 100% bet at B40. I can show you guys real quickly. So this is actually just a range bet spot, and sizing up is actually like really ill-advised because this is just so much cleaner of a strategy, and you're not gaining that much more fold equity choosing the larger size. But he did go with 66% pot. I imagine 6-4 will get in there. It's one of his worst hands. Having the backdoor is pretty nice. And it actually, I would guess, denies a lot of your backdoor flush draws. So let's see. Well, he doesn't have 6-4, so that's a big problem.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
Well, let's go back and... Sorry to have given you too tight of a range, sir. Let's try again.
Too tight. That's, I don't know. I don't know if you should be opening 6-4 suited from UTG.
Yeah, to be fair, I gave him a hijack range. But yeah, so 6-4 now in there. Let's see what it does for 2/3. Again, I imagine we'll see it just really go for it.
I think it was 75%, but that I don't know if that matters.
I did the math. I think it was 66.
It was 15 and 21.
Yeah.
75.
Is it?
So a little bit less than 75%. Right?
I mean, 15 to 20 is 75%.
It would be exactly 75, yeah.
Well, let's change it to big blinds then. 5. All right. So 68%. Sue me. 6-4 gets in there.
That extra dollar means a lot, I guess.
6-4 gets in there pure. So his sizing for his hand, totally fine. And yeah, like, you know, not going to lose that much. It's just a matter of whether or not he's doing, like, whether or not he's range betting here. That would be where there would be some EV loss. So we see King 9 of diamonds is continuing in full while the other King 9s are actually folding. So that should be a good indicator that we're probably not going to see much calling out of the other diamond candidates.
And that's, you don't want to call with the King 9 of diamonds there, or I mean, I'm sorry, the King 9s without the backdoor because you get wrecked by the Ace King.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So if your only equity is not clean, you don't really want to be drawing to it.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, as I supposed, like King 8 of diamonds, pure fold, King 7 of diamonds, pure fold. Same with King 6. And then whenever you start to get to the wheel candidates, even those are folding. Only the clubs are continuing in somewhat in an aggressive manner. You see a lot of the same with the ace highs as well. So it needs a backdoor. Nope, even that doesn't continue. So I thought the ace wheels would be in there. They're actually
the
not.
Backdoor straight draw with it.
Yeah.
Still not enough.
No. And it's probably because we have so much robust equity with the queen of diamonds, jack of diamond combos. Like we have so much suited queen and jack that we're continuing all of this. There's really no reason to continue beyond ace 10 of diamonds. So we basically have like ace 10 of diamonds, ace jack of diamonds, and then you know, this has us peeling ace queen suited pure, but I imagine you're 3-betting it at some
Matt,
frequency.
can I look at that 7 deuce? I'm assuming that's just clubs.
Yep. Yeah. Everything here that's low frequency that isn't a pair or a straight draw is always just going to be clubs.
Scroll
So
over
like
the King 9.
10-9, 10-8. These are the only ones that will include diamonds. 10-7 does not now. What do you want to look at?
King 9. This hand.
What of it?
No, I was just curious.
Okay. So yeah, you can see that the combo front door draw will happily play raise, and we do get to play pretty aggressively here, mainly because of what I spoke to. Brian's range is probably a lot more protected than it actually is, although I do think that this would be a really good way to play your environment for what it's worth. Like, just don't 3-bet jacks from the big blind.
Yeah.
It should be like my instinct is to always bloat pots against bad players, but the problem is that like if they're prone to being funneled too quickly, then you'd rather just delay as much as you possibly can with your better hands.
I definitely would flat there a lot with jack, especially against an early position opener.
Right. So you can see queens are almost pure themselves. They're calling like 90% of the time. I just think that these are probably good things to have in your arsenal in an environment where people are just like a little bit prone to being value dense when they put chips in the pot actively. You want to be able to protect against that by having good hands yourself.
Yeah.
So we continue through a call, which is completely fine. Turn 3 of diamonds. This is where it's going to get a little bit hairy. We're not going to play any leads. And you can see that they just have a 2E strategy here. So
What size is 2E? 131?
131%. Yeah.
Okay.
If we eliminate that strategy though and go,
that's just like not something you see too much of. Also in our environment, right?
So I think he went like 70% pot. Again.
35 into 51 and 51.
Yeah, so like maybe 69%. Nice.
Good check. Ooh.
Oh, that's because I left the big strategy there. Sorry. Yeah, if we single size it, which I assume that he will. I mean, maybe he splits. Maybe he takes his really good hands and bets big with them. Who knows? Okay, so the 6-4 diamonds does follow through. Oh, I should have looked. I wanted to look and see what the 2E did. Sorry. This is just for my own sake. You know, if you guys are going to learn out there, I also want to be a little curious
for sure
for myself. Okay, there it is. Pure check.
So if it's a 2E, just a 2E straight strategy, one single size, you're going to take the 6-4 and check it because it's you just don't want to get check raised on.
Getting jammed on here is a fucking nightmare.
You want to you literally want to cry.
Yeah, but what the hell is check raising you?
Well, better hands, better draws, Jack X of diamonds.
Go ahead and show them.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, so like look, King 9 of diamonds is a pure jam, or mostly jams, I should say, like 3/4 of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Queen 7 of diamonds jams half the time. Queen 5, sorry, that doesn't exist. Queen 3 doesn't exist. These are all two pairs. They're going to be playing raise a lot.
I tend to use big sizes a lot when I just turn gin cards like this, where I just have massive equity. I just go huge, and again, this could be anecdotal, but people don't reaggress. Just at least not as often. Otherwise, I'd adjust.
Well, you're only getting jammed on 7% of the time,
and
but you unblock all those jams, right? There's nothing with a 6 or a 4 in it that's shoving, right? Look, the whole 6 region outside of exactly 7-6 of clubs, which doesn't matter because you have 6-4 of diamonds.
Yeah,
that's the only 6 that jams, and the only 4 that jams, there isn't one.
Yeah.
So
and it sucks like when you have 6-4 diamonds and you bet there. You know, you bet big and then they get jammed on because you're going to get jammed on by bigger diamonds a lot of the time. So it's just like, if you do call it off, like it just, you know, you don't have the equity you think you do.
Yeah, you're pretty dead. Like, I'm very surprised the 10-8 of diamonds just calls. I guess it's because so much of the betting region is coming from the pair plus diamond draws. So like you can see Queen 10 of diamonds is a pure bet. Queen 9 of diamonds bets half the time. Queen 8 of diamonds doesn't matter because we had 10-8 in this example. But yeah, so like a lot of the Queen X of diamond hands are betting, while very few of the worst diamonds are betting. And so it's literally just like 9-7 exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, 10-8 just like doesn't really benefit from fold equity in that instance. Now, when we change it to the actual size that was chosen, the question is going to be, do you get to play check raise non all in? I would suspect yes, but I wouldn't be shocked if like your response is just only jam.
It would have to be like a min click, right? If he's going to raise.
Let's see what the SPR is at this point. So he's betting 12 into like 18-ish, 17, something like that. And yeah, you guys are going to have like 2 pots left. So I think like 2E would probably be like 40% pot.
Yeah.
If I have to guess, maybe a little bit more.
I think in the moment I felt like
it's either jam or
jamming was too big.
Sorry, it's 40 big blinds, so 67% pot.
Yeah, I felt like jamming was too big, but I didn't want to like raise non all in. So like,
I mean, the non all in sides definitely comes through.
Yeah.
But it's kind of weird. It's very value driven. 5-3 chooses non all in. 10-3 of diamonds, I would guess. No, 10-3 of clubs. Sorry. Yeah, right. The 3's a diamond, of course. Chooses non all in. And then like a hand like queens and jacks. That's really what the strategy is built around, is like exactly queens and jacks. If we eliminate the non all in size, so we're raising now at about 5% frequency total. If we only used the all-in size, I don't imagine it'll go down much. Maybe like 4%. Yeah. So it's about 4%. King 9 of diamonds, just a bit, about 15% of the time. So it is mostly playing call.
Okay.
So you're not really doing badly on the turn. Your instincts are pretty good. Much prefer actually the pair plus, which is counterintuitive to what I thought. I thought the pair plus would be the ones that would be more inclined to call.
Because you have the showdown value?
Yeah. I thought the pair plus would be the ones more inclined to call, and the actual like combo draws like 10-8, 10-9, King 9, things like that would be more inclined to kind of go for it. Now, we don't have 10-9 of a flush draw because they all check raise flop. So we lose 10-9 of clubs and 10-9 of diamonds there, but the other 10-9s are just now pure folds. But yeah, it ends up being pretty backward to my logic, although most of the Jack X of diamonds and Queen X of diamonds are just calling. It seems like it's specifically using like Jack 9 because it blocks combo draws, I would imagine. So it probably blocks like some of the triple offs. And perhaps the same with like Queen 7, where it's blocking like 7-6 of diamonds, which is a potential triple off. And then yeah, like we don't have 7-6 of diamonds, that just folds flop for us. But again, like the whole strategy is just built around like Queen Jack, Jacks, Queens, things of that nature. It's kind of more interesting what club hands we choose because that's where all the low ones are coming in. So like 9-8 of clubs is in there, 10-8 of clubs is in there. So it's actually the inverse of what I was saying. The back door doesn't care about showdown value. The front door does care about showdown value. And I just imagine that has something to do with the top two cards being unblocked for the back door, but blocking the front door. So falling through the call is pretty good. Deuce of Diamonds River. I do suspect you're going to have a lot of leads here. No, 0.
Wow.
You just don't get
that. With your flushes?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do think, like, in theory, you, like, that's how I would feel. Like instinctually, in theory, I would think, okay, like, I just continue to check here and let him bet. But, like, in the environment, I feel like I'm just losing value when I do that.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But, like, what bluffs do I, like, do I have, like,
I think it becomes more of a question of, like, who's holding the advantage on this card, and you're still at a pretty sizable disadvantage.
Yeah. He just has a lot
of your really good hands have exited, right? Like, you never have 6-4 of diamonds, so you don't have the nut flush. You never have ace-high diamonds, so you don't have the ace-high flush either.
Right.
Unless it's exactly ace-10, ace-jack, or ace-queen, in which case 2 out of 3 of these block pairs that he could potentially defend with. So that's why these don't want to lead. Ace-10, of course, can lead because it unblocks like exactly Queen X and Jack X of diamonds, but like that's not really, you're not going to build a strategy around this one hand.
Yeah.
And then everything else is like kind of inferior. When you look at flushes, he still has more because he gets to c-bet more backdoor hands than we get to call with.
Yep.
When you look at straights, we have like a couple combos that he doesn't have because we have 6-4 of clubs in full, where he may check back that hand on the turn. And then, like sets, we don't really retain any. The board got too scary. We just exited much earlier. 2-pair, we have like a slight advantage just because our range is wider, but like they're not the strongest 2-pair, so we're still getting kind of owned by like Queen Jack plus. And then we have a significant amount of like top pair and second pair, which is why we want to check all the other hands. We need to protect 60+% of our range is really strong showdown value that just gets absolutely mopped by the polar portion of our opponent's range.
Yeah.
Matt, the user interface that you're using right now on Wizard is comparing range versus range.
Yeah, this is the ranges tab.
So when you hover over, top pair, it's just going to highlight top pair. Oh, okay. So top pair versus top pair.
Correct. Yeah.
Cool.
And you can see this divergence in the equity graph here. You can see that at the top, all the way down to like, call it, I don't know, 40% equity, 45% equity. The hijack just has a pretty sizable advantage over us. And then at that point, it flips. So from 45% down to nothing, we have a sizable advantage, but that's not the region that you want to have an advantage in. That means that we need to protect this portion of our range with this other portion of our range. We can't diverge, right?
Okay.
Yeah. When we reach that divergence, it becomes very easy to play against because you can't bet any of this bottom region, right? Especially for the size that you chose, 75%.
Right.
None of that region can bet. It all has to play check. Now, you could work a block in here, I suppose, if we gave ourselves a 25% bet size, it might choose it. I still don't think it will because the equities are just too diverged. But maybe it like lets us sneak in a block here some of the time. No, it just can't. You see like exactly your hand. So if we go back to strategy EV, your exact combo is the only one that wants to block.
Yeah, I was gonna say like with my hand, like it's with my hand and in the environment I'm playing, block actually seems really good there, and then just then fold to the raise. Yeah. But like it feels dirty.
You're just cheapening the value of your hand because it's such a good bluff catcher.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Matt,
like
they don't bluff enough to.
What was the tab that you used to go back?
Right, but he can value cut himself.
To comparing ranges.
They don't do that enough either.
It's this tab ranges right here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like I'm specifically hoping he has 2 pair. He's not. He's checking back 1 pair.
Yeah, sure, but
Almost
like
certainly.
he can just have flushes too. Like he just has flushes for sure.
But if he has flushes, then I just get that. I get the value anyways.
But it's only a quarter pot now, as opposed to checking and letting him bet 3/4 pot. Right. And you have the second nut flush, so you can pretty comfortably check jam and get called some of the time. So yeah, I mean, like if you check and you face the 80% that I think like you'll face pretty often, what does your hand do? I suspect it's gonna shove, because you don't really have better hands.
It feels too
thin.
No, I'm saying my hand feels too good not to shove.
Yeah.
Like
you don't really you don't really have better.
Yeah.
And actually, it's like playing jam with like almost all flushes. Even 10-8 of diamonds here is playing shove.
Yeah.
So that's another big reason why you're retaining these hands, is because the way the river plays out is that you're at such a sizable disadvantage on most runouts that you actually are calling to fold. Like on the turn, you're actually calling to fold a fair amount of the time, unless the board falls in your favor. Now, falling in your favor in this instance is actually a brick. And I don't think people would have noticed that intuitively. Matter of fact, I don't even think I noticed that intuitively. But
so it was just like a 7 of spades or something.
If you give it,
was he just able to find a bluff?
No, it's because you have so much top pair.
Okay, so
right. So if you give it like the 3 of spade, you still play no blocks. But like, let's look at the range. The equities now here, range versus range. So now look at the divergence. Now instead of it,
way more. Yeah.
Look how much closer we are at the top. We're obviously still at a disadvantage because he still carries forward like way stronger hands like aces, kings, ace, queen, and stuff like that. But now instead of it diverging at 50% equity, it diverges
40. It wasn't it 40
or 45? Yeah.
No, 45.
Now it diverges at like 65%. So we actually still have a lot of the quote unquote good hands in our range. And what this just sets up for is we're going to face a lot of medium-sized bets instead of big bets when we check. And now we're going to be able to call at a much greater frequency. So he actually does still jam a lot on a brick, and it might be a byproduct of it being a 3. If we just gave it the 2 of spades instead, we may see a lot less jamming. But again, this is also still a byproduct of us not carrying a lot of the ace high hands forward. So no, he still goes all in a lot, which we can't defend that super liberally. But when he bets the 80% pot, like our top pairs mostly aren't going to be indifferent, if at all, right?
Yep.
So yeah, look at the queen range. We don't become indifferent until queen 9, queen 8, right? And the same thing on the suited side. So queen 10 plus is just like all going to pure call, and that's a big way of how you're constructing this turn range, which is why specifically with the backdoors, it doesn't really want to play super aggressively with the non-showdown region because it needs to have some. It needs to back into some strong hands on river diamonds. As played, if we lock it for you having some sort of leading frequency, which again, this gets like, I don't even know if this is really worth looking at, to be honest, because like you're really only, I mean, you're leading really exploitatively, right? Like, it's just only going to be flushes, I think.
Right.
So I think I can filter this.
And I understood that in the moment. Like it's just
right. So I want it to be like 75% flush and only that. I'm choosing a bit larger of a size than you actually chose, but so now when he responds with a jam, well, let me correct the size. Because of course you can't fold when it's a 28% raise.
Right.
You had for like 70%, 75%?
75.
121 in the middle, and he bet 90.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly 75.
Now I do the lock again. Yeah, so if we give you like an imbalanced lead, I mean, the reason I say these aren't worth looking at is because the response is going to be exploitative.
Right.
So like better is going to jam and worse is going to fold.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So yeah, you can see that his shoves now come from king high flushes or better. So queen jack of diamonds, for example, just calls.
Yeah.
Even like the ace high stuff, like ace jack, only continues when it's the flush. So you just get jammed on by a bunch of nut flushes, second nut flushes, and then 6-4. And when you face this all in, like you're forced to call with your hand. Of course,
because it's just too good. It's just like I don't have any other better hands.
Correct.
The best hand I have.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, it's just because he bluffs.
Yeah.
Like he still has bluffs,
Yeah.
right? If you look, he's jamming like king queen off, a small frequency, kings, small frequency, ace king off, pretty hefty frequency. So because these hands exist, you have to call with your flushes. Otherwise, you would just play pure fold yourself because you took an exploit, he re-exploited, you re-exploit. That's kind of the nature of it, and that's kind of the game that people often play when they're playing these mid-stake games, which is kind of unfortunate because it's both the most authentic version of poker as well as like the most stupid version at the same time, if that makes sense.
It does. Yeah.
Right? It's super authentic because like you're just humans playing humans and you're taking advantage of the fact that like, oh, he's human. But you're also setting up this framework for I have confidence in my ability to know that he's human and that he's just incapable of being better than human ever. And from his vantage point, if he takes the same approach, but says to himself, but I do think he's capable of executing better than a human, now he just naturally exploits you.
Yeah.
Right? Because like now he just counter exploits and you're fucked. That type of thing. So it does become a slippery slope of circular logic where it's like, well, I know that he knows that I know that he knows that I know that he knows. And then we land on something that we just feel comfortable with. But oftentimes in these games that you're playing, that rule does apply.
Yeah.
Probably only a better hand jamming on you there.
Right.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. All in all, though, I would say you got this one right.
Woohoo! Bling. Look at that.
So congrats on that.
Thanks. But like on the river, like practically speaking, like how are you?
I just went fold. Not king.
No. I mean the lead versus check.
Oh, I think it's fine.
The lead's fine. Just because you just know it's exploitive. And
I personally would just check because I expect him to bet all of his flushes, and I don't know what he's going to do with worse than a flush if I bet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want to go down the slippery slope of like, oh, I need to find bluffs here so that when he folds everything that isn't a flush, I'm not exploiting myself.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that. So instead, I'm just going to check and say, like, every time he has the queen high flush or jack high flush, I'm going to fuck him.
Right.
And just live with that outcome.
Right. And you're checking to jam.
Yes, for sure. If you guys want to submit your own in the muck, try to make it a heads up pot. That'll make it on air more often. But head to our Discord channel, #Discord. You can get the link in our chat, or head to @onlyfriends_pod. Give us a follow while you're there. It's the pinned tweet. You can just click on it. We have an entire community dedicated to Solve for Why and a forum dedicated to In the Muck. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know how you enjoy these shows. I know it was a lot of NFL talk. But hey, it's the slow season.
We snuck a little Pirates in there.
We're so back.
We're so fucking back, baby.
Oh my fucking God. I'm so glad you said that. I completely forgot. The Yankees called up the Martian today. So you can expect another World Series ring coming. You guys don't know who the Martian is.
Please cut off of
Oh
him.
my God, Jason Dominguez coming up.
I know.
Let's
Jason
get it popping.
Okay, we're gonna get it popping all over the place. We'll be back tomorrow, more normal time. We're gonna be back at 11 a.m. Sorry about the delay today. I had a meeting I had to take, but we'll be back at 11 a.m. tomorrow with all of the good stuff. We're gonna wrap up Weekend Warrior very quickly. Very quickly.
Just like your meeting.
We'll also be doing a little who's cooking for this past weekend.
We'll break down Skeens' perfect game.
We'll be talking a lot of Skeens. Be sure to tune in tomorrow, 11 a.m. We'll see you guys then.
Peace.
Later, squad.
Peace.